Hello, it's Lee Merriweather again. You know, the lawyer decided to become a sawyer. So we're going to be milling up some willow oaks for the first time. We've milled a lot of oak over the years, but this is the first time we've ever milled up willow oak. These logs actually came from a top quality golf course located in the Atlanta area that I believe is part of the PGA Tour, and the goal is to turn these logs into 4 different things. 1 golf flag sticks. You know, the sticks that have a flag on one end and sit in the holes on a golf course. Also 3.5-inch golf balls to mark each tee marker, live edge charcuterie or serving boards, and live edge slabs for future tables, dining room tables, coffee tables, that sort of thing, for the clubhouse at the golf course. The plan is to quarter saw some of the logs at 6/4 or 1.5 inches. And the reason for quarter sawing is quarter sawn boards are the most stable. We want them to be as flat and straight as possible to turn into 3/4 of an inch thick flag sticks. We are also going to have to dry them as quickly as possible, and as obviously as safely as we can. We don't want to ruin the wood. So they'll first go into the solar kiln to pre-dry them. Then, after pre-drying in the solar kiln, then they'll be moved to our Nyle L200M dehumidification kiln to get them down to the moisture content we're looking for.
Yes. Knowing that we need this wood as stable as possible so it's nice, flat, and straight so we can turn it into flag sticks, I've decided, just partly the nature of the tree, or this log I should say, you got the pith right in here, the center of the tree. That's the most unstable part. I want to try to stay away from that. By quarter sawing this, I'll have the most stable wood. You can see the tree rings are moving this direction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slice it here. That's going to give me a 2x6, and I'm going to slice it here along this line here. That'll give me a 2x8, and then all these boards are going to be quarter sawn, and that will give us a nice stable boards for us to turn into the flag sticks. But at the same time, then we're actually going to cut the center part of the tree will be tossed aside. Like I said, it's not the stable part of the tree, it's the least stable part of the tree. And then we'll mill these this way, and you can see the rings are coming in this direction. These boards will also be quarter sawn, and that'll give us the best wood out of this log.
Since oak is one of the slowest species to dry, we'll have to be careful how hard we push the wood to dry. At the same time, we do have a hard deadline because the golf course is hoping to use these for an upcoming golf tournament. Now, half these logs are very clean, meaning very few knots, and the other half are filled with knots. So we'll be using the clean logs to make the flag sticks and the golf balls, and then the logs full of knots will be used for live edge slabs and charcuterie boards. And it wound up taking about 2.5 days to mill these logs.
Absolutely beautiful. I like willow oak. I've never milled it before. I like the grain. Absolutely beautiful.
And part of the reason for the delay had to do with multiple interruptions during the day, and the other reason is that the live edge slabs were not part of the original plan we had developed with the golf course. But after looking at the logs for a little while, I decided that live edge slabbing the knotty logs was the best option. But I didn't have authority for that from the golf course, so I paused milling and went back to the golf course to discuss why I thought live edge slabbing the remaining logs was a better option than just turning them into lumber. And so I actually decided to break this up into 2 videos because there was a lot of work done. But as far as why I chose live edge slabbing over lumber is that with live edge slabbing, with knots are going to cause the wood to, at every point of the knot, you're going to have a little bit of twisting or it dries differently than the rest of the wood. And when you're doing lumber, like maybe 2x6s or 2x8s, that can cause significant twist in it, depending on where the knot is. And then the lumber you lose a lot of the thickness of the lumber when you try to plane out that twist or cup because of the knots. But with the live edge slab, and this is just from my experience, that you have a wider surface area to deal with those knots, and so you tend to not lose as much material when you go to flatten those slabs versus a thinner or narrower piece of lumber. So, not to mention the lumber is not as strong with all the knots, whereas a live edge slab, for what you're using it for, you're not worried about that.
All right, well, we got an interesting log here. One end, this is at 35 inches, so just about maxing out the mill. And on the other end, we've got one heck of a taper. So, let me get my tape measure. I would normally have this on my hip, but the thing broke. So, it fell off my hip. The belt clip broke. So on this end, 21 inches, but and 28. So yeah, it's nice and round on the butt end, but this log has the strangest taper to it. You can sort of get an idea when you look at it this way. You can see that massive flare, but it just gets oblong. And then down here it's yeah. So I was hoping to be able to quarter saw this, but the grains are going to be moving in such odd directions. I may just turn this into boards, and that way we'll yeah, I think I'm just going to turn this into boards.
And the good thing about live edge slabbing is that, let's say they decide, you know what, we don't want to make live edge tables. We just want to make like farmhouse style tables. I'm just throwing that as an example. I'm not saying that's what they're going to do, but you can always just cut off the live edge, or you can just, after you run the boards through a planer, or even before, you just take a circular saw and or a table saw and just rip the live edge slabs down to normal lumber. So the live edge slabs give you more options in this particular case, I think, than just milling it up as lumber. So that's why I made the suggestion, and they liked it. Hope you enjoy the rest of the video.